So in our previous segment we have discussed about an important accessory digestive gland, and the gland was liver, and we are left with only one gland in the part of accessory digestive gland, and the gland name is pancreas. So we have discussed liver, and today we will discuss about pancreas as an important gland. So today the topic is pancreas. Now pancreas, first of all, location we will discuss, and the functions, different type and structure also, like which cells make up the pancreas and what are the roles of these cells. In detail we will discuss. So location wise, it is located in the depression between stomach and duodenum. So location wise, it is beneath the stomach. When you refer the standardized textbook, standardized reference book, it is written as beneath the stomach. It is located beneath the stomach. So if we have to locate or draw diagrammatically, then say for example, if this is the esophageal part and this is the stomach region, then tube which passes from the stomach is what we call it as the duodenum part of small intestine, which is a C-shaped tube, and within this depression, within this cavity, the pancreas is located. So in this region the pancreas is located. So this is the region of pancreas. Okay, now we will be mainly discussing about the external as well as internal part of the pancreas and their structures, associated functions also. So externally, pancreas is made up of 4 different parts. So first we will study about the external structure. The external structure comprises of the 4 parts, that is head, neck, third is the main body of the pancreas, and the fourth is tail part of the pancreas. So 4 external features or 4 external structures which are present externally in the pancreas are head, neck, body and tail. So let us label all these 4 parts. So this is the main region, that is the head region of pancreas. Clear? This is pancreas. Clear? And this is the esophageal tube and this is the stomach. C-shaped tube, duodenum. This all I am not labeling because already we have discussed in detail. This is the main head. Then neck is this depression towards the downward side. This is the neck, and this entire circle central part is the main body of the pancreas, and this narrow end is what we call it as the tail part of the pancreas. So 4 parts: head, neck, body and tail. Now in our body mainly 2 types of glands are associated. First is endocrine and the second is exocrine gland. So 2 glands, 2 important glands are first endocrine gland and the second is exocrine gland. Now detailed discussion we will not do now. There is a separate section there, separate chapter is there regarding all these glands, but still for pancreas we have to discuss. So definition wise we will discuss. So endocrine glands are mainly a gland which are a kind of ductless gland. They are ductless. And now we know what is duct. Duct means a tube-like structure. So endocrine glands are ductless glands. So whatever secretions endocrine glands are having, these secretions will be directly poured into the blood. So secretions are directly poured into blood. Exocrine glands are ductile glands. Exocrine glands are ductile glands. Ductile glands means what? The glands which have duct, which have tube, and through this tube only the secretions will be poured into the blood. So they pour their secretion via tubes, or you can also write it as via duct. They pour their secretion. So two types of glands, endocrine as well as exocrine glands. Ductless secretion is through blood. About the exocrine gland, it is ductile and they pour their secretions via the tubes or duct. Now, what about this pancreas? Pancreas comes under which classification? So, classification wise, pancreas has both types of structure. Pancreas acts as endocrine gland as well as exocrine gland also. And the gland which act as both or the part of a body which act as exocrine as well as endocrine, such glands are called as heterocrine glands. So one more definition for you, heterocrine glands. So pancreas is an example of heterocrine gland. Pancreas is an example of heterocrine glands. Clear? Heterocrine glands. So what are heterocrine glands? The glands which act as both endocrine as well as exocrine glands. Okay, so now let us discuss the part of pancreas which are exocrine and which are endocrine, and functions also. So first we will study about the exocrine part of the pancreas and the cells associated with the exocrine part. Okay. So exocrine glands of the pancreas are mainly responsible for the secretion of pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice is essential or it is required for digestion of various molecules within the intestine part. So let us discuss about the exocrine part of the pancreas. Exocrine gland has cells which are called as acini cells. So cells of exocrine part of the pancreas are called as acini cells. So let us discuss about acini cells, their secretion and their role. So first discussion is how pancreas act as an exocrine glands. So the cells which are the main type of cells are acini cells, and these acini cells function is to secrete, or to be more specific, exocrine gland or exocrine part which comprised of these acini cells secrete a juice, and that juice is called as pancreatic juice, and the juice is what we call it as pancreatic juice. This juice has certain characteristics, like it has a pH of 8 to 8.8. This is the pH of pancreatic juice, and we can see that the pH is basic, it is alkaline in nature. If you remember, we have pH scale of 0 to 14. If it is from 0 till 7, it is acidic. If it is 7, it is neutral. Above 7, it is basic, or you can also say it is alkaline. So the pH of pancreatic juice is alkaline in nature. Now why nature has given alkaline juice in pancreas? This is for one reason, that we know from stomach the food comes into intestine, that is duodenum part of small intestine, and we also know that stomach secrete high quantity of hydrochloric acid. So food is acidic only, but enzymes which are there in the duodenum, that is in the pancreatic juice, they do not act, they do not work in the acidic pH. They require this pH only, that is pH above 7, and that pH is provided by pancreatic juice. So it is acting as a kind of neutralizing effect against the acidic food which is coming from the stomach. So function is to secrete pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice helps in the digestion of proteins, fats, like that. This is about the exocrine part of the pancreas. Now endocrine part, endocrine portion. This endocrine portion has a group of tissues which are called as islets of Langerhans. Technical terms are important to remember. Endocrine part of the pancreas has a group of tissues which are present as a patches in the pancreas, in the entire pancreas. This is a group of tissues. This is called as islets of Langerhans. This is called as islets of Langerhans. Now this islets of Langerhans, which is a tissue, has varieties of cells. main four cells which are present in the islets of Langerhans are, so cells of islets are, first that is A, this is called as alpha cell, it is also called as A cell. So the first cell is alpha cell or A cell. The second type of cell which is present in the islets of Langerhans is beta cell, or you can also say it as B cell. The third important type of cell which is present in the islets of Langerhans are delta cells, or you can also write it as D cells. And the fourth is P cells or PP cells. It is P cells. Okay, or FF cells also you can say. Now let us discuss about the role, that is function of each and every cells which are a part of islets of Langerhans. So first let us discuss about the alpha cells. The important feature regarding the endocrine part of the pancreas is endocrine part mainly secrete hormones. So endocrine part, I am writing here only, endocrine part mainly secrete hormones. Mainly secretes hormones. So what are hormones? They are chemicals which are secreted in one part of the body and their action is shown in the other part of the body. So hormones are chemicals which are secreted at one part of the body and they show their effect to the other part of the body. Clear? So all these cells secrete at least one hormone, and this hormone has wide varieties of physiological functions in our cell or in our body. So let us discuss first about the alpha cells. So A, that is alpha cells or A cells. Alpha cells secrete an important hormone, that is what we call it as glucagon. Alpha cells secrete an important hormone, that is what we call it as glucagon. Beta cells secrete an important hormone, that is what we call it as insulin. Alpha cells secrete an important hormone, that is called as glucagon. Beta cells secrete an important hormone, that is insulin. Delta cells secrete somatostatin, SOMATOSTATIN. So alpha cell secretes glucagon, beta cell secretes insulin, and delta cell secrete somatostatin. And these P cells or FF cells secrete pancreatic polypeptide. So D, that is P cells secrete pancreatic polypeptide. Clear? P cells secrete pancreatic polypeptide. Now let us discuss the roles of each and every hormone. So alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells, as well as pancreatic polypeptide. First role is the role of alpha cells, that is glucagon. Now there is one reaction that we have to write here in order to understand the role of these two hormones, that is glucagon and insulin, because both are opposite. It is called as antagonistic effect. So glucose conversion to glycogen. Now let us discuss first, that is what is glucose and what is glycogen. Glucose is the simplest sugar, a simplest monosaccharide. Glucose is simplest sugar, or you can also call it as monosaccharide. Saccharide means, what is the meaning of saccharide? Saccharide means sugar or carbohydrate. Mono means one. Clear? So such saccharides or such sugars which cannot be further degraded are called as monosaccharides, and the best example is glucose. Glucose formula is C6H12O6. Clear? C6H12O6. Now what is this glycogen? Glycogen is nothing but it is one form of glucose, but it is storage form of glucose. What is glycogen? It is storage form of glucose. Glycogen is storage form of glucose. Storage means there should be some place where this glycogen can be stored. So in human beings, this glycogen is stored specifically in liver and muscle cell. Glycogen is stored where? Mainly in liver and muscle cells. Okay. So glucose conversion to glycogen. Glucose conversion to glycogen is performed using the hormone that is what we call it as insulin. So insulin. I am writing it here like insulin. Now glucose conversion to glycogen is by the presence of specific hormone that was insulin, which is secreted by the cells of beta cell, that is the beta cells of pancreas. Now what is the indication? That when glucose is converted into glycogen, glucose level decreases in the blood. Glucose level decreases in the blood. Why glucose level decreases in the blood? Because all the glucose molecules in our body are stored in the form of glycogen, and where they are stored? They are stored either in the liver or in the muscle cells. So effectively in blood concentration of glucose decreases. Why decreases? Because all the glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. Clear? Whatever is required by the cell, it will remain in the cell. Excess glucose will be stored in the form of glycogen, and where it is stored? Either in the liver or muscle cells. So insulin role is to decrease blood sugar level. Insulin role is to decrease blood sugar level. This is the role of insulin. Then glucagon. This is the second hormone secreted by the alpha cells of the pancreas islets of Langerhans. So glucagon will do what? Just now I told you that both the hormones are antagonistic to each other. That means the effect is opposite. If insulin is decreasing blood sugar level, glucagon will increase the blood sugar level. So glucagon will increase blood sugar level. Okay. So let us write with the reverse arrow. This reaction is performed using glucagon. Now glycogen is converted into glucose in presence of this hormone, that is glucagon. Now let us understand this reaction also, that is reverse reaction. Glycogen to glucose conversion via or with the help of hormone which we call it as glucagon, secreted by the alpha cells of pancreas. Now whenever we are under the fasting condition, we generally do not eat. Then when we do not eat, our body has storage form of glucose already there. That's why we are able to survive within that one day with only water, because we are not eating. Our body does not get any food, no glucose in the body, no energy in the body. That's it. This is the simplest rule. If there is no glucose in the cell, there is no energy for the cell. But whenever we are under fasting condition, this glycogen is stored in the form of glucose, either in liver or in muscle. That glycogen start to mobilize from liver. Mobilize means it will come out from the liver and it will start breakdown. Glycogen breakdown will start, and this will break down into produce smaller glucose units, which we call it as the glucose molecules. So this is the reaction of glucagon hormone. Now the third hormone was somatostatin. So third is somatostatin. This somatostatin is secreted by which cells of pancreas islets? Delta cells or T cells. Mainly somatostatin hormone acts as inhibiting. It suppresses the effect of alpha or beta hormones. So somatostatin is inhibiting hormone. Clear? It either inhibit or suppress the effect of insulin or glucagon. Now the fourth one was PP cells or F cells. Let us say F cells, it secretes what? Pancreatic polypeptide. Secretes pancreatic polypeptide. Polypeptide. What is the meaning of polypeptide? Polypeptide means a stretch of or a string of proteins in our body. So this is the role of insulin, glucagon, somatostatin as well as F cells. Okay. So this is all about the important gland which is associated in our body or associated with the digestive system, that was pancreas. So what we discussed, exocrine part and then endocrine part. Clear? Endocrine part is very important because it secretes the three main hormones, insulin, glucagon as well as somatostatin, while exocrine part will secrete pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contains various enzymes and ions that will digest the proteins, fats as well as carbohydrates. So we are done with the entire alimentary canal. We have also discussed about the glands, salivary glands, gastric glands, accessory glands that includes liver as well as pancreas. So in the next segment we will start with the actual digestion process.